Product water, is it done coming out, or does it come out all the time?
Comes out all the time.
So
This is Site 2.
Yeah. And they're supposed to dispose of it either by underground injection and or surface application, or
surface application.
yeah, which means they could just
spread it on the road.
They could come out here and spray it. They could, they're supposed to like tell the regulatory agency where they spread this surface surface application of these waters, but it's really hard. It's pretty much one of the untracked things, untrackable. If you really want to have an impact on your local oil and gas industry, I would say doing these site visits and or getting out there and following that product water and that fracking water, following those trucks to figure out what they're doing with this. Is it going into the wells? Is it going into the sewage treatment plants? Is it going into the creeks? What are they doing with it? Because we're looking at millions and millions and millions of gallons of water that's totally polluted, there's no record of where it's going. So
would it make any sense to come out here with a Geiger counter?
Yeah, why not? You could totally do it. Come out here and see what's going on. See if any of these discharges around these, that black discharge, maybe that might be radioactive or something. So this site right here was really interesting because this is where, unlike the previous site, this site is located on a steep slope. Right over here on this edge, it was all eroded out really bad. Based on our previous citizens' complaints that were filed, they had to bring in a bulldozer and do grading here, and there's a fresh riprap rock over there that they've placed to help control some of that erosion. But I bet after, if we go over there in a minute, that after all the rains this summer, there's probably a deep gully in that area again, and that would be something that we would file as a violation on this site and force them to bring a bulldozer out here and spend more money to try and remediate a problem that is going to be reoccurring on this site, which means it's going to continue to cost them money every time we come out here and file these violations.
That's the pipeline, isn't
and
it?
anyone can do this. This doesn't have to be a certain group or through a lawyer. Just
No.
a regular person.
Yeah,
Is there
that's
a certain form you gotta fill out, or it's just a letter you send?
You just file your complaint with the agency. You find your contact person, and if they don't respond, if your state agency doesn't respond, you move up the chain of command.
Like
you file
for the pipeline,
similar
maybe?
complaints with the EPA. There's actually a national emergency response unit that if you file a complaint with that, it goes out to 8 federal agencies. And I will remember briefly what the name of that organization is, but the more complaints that you file, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, or shuts down the oil in this sense. So don't give up when you're filing your complaints. You're going to be able to identify what you're going to be able to get traction on, after the first round of complaints that you file. We've been able to get traction on the erosion problems. We've been able to get traction on the leaking gas wells. So, there's certain things like, maybe trying to get some sort of barriers put around this so that, people don't accidentally drive into it, or that we haven't been able to get any traction on that. So, trying to get some of these little oily residues cleaned up around these well heads and stuff. Like, we haven't really been able to get any traction on that. So, it's just you're gonna have to work with your state agency to figure out what you can get traction on, and as soon as you get that, that's what you keep pushing. You keep pushing that button. You keep going back to the sites. We can report this site over and over again as that erosion continues to happen, continue to cost them money.
Do you generally take a picture or anything when you file your complaint?
Yes, I'm getting ready to move over there and take a picture.
And so they don't find out who complained.
You can usually file anonymously. I choose not to because I like to strike fear in the industry. You know, they're like, damn, Matt Landon out on site again. You know, we've got to get that guy.
Have they stalked you any?
Have they what?
Stalked you at all?
Stalked me. Well, there was the threat on the from this company, Atlas Energy. You know, because they said, we know who you are, but the guy stupidly, even though he said he knew who I was, but he stupidly said all these stupid remarks, and I filmed the whole thing and turned it into a YouTube video.
Right.
So it made them look that much stupider. So he obviously didn't know me that well.
You take it more seriously, I think, too, when you put a name on something. Because I know when we see it, if we got an anonymous report, you're not going to give that maybe as much attention as somebody who's willing to put their name out.
Yeah, see, if you put your name out there and you start busting these companies, your name will strike fear in the companies. You know, when you start busting them, you start costing them money, your name will make them tremble because they'll be like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? They're going to find violations.
Oh, no.
You know, so I personally feel like it's good to be feared by the industry and the regulators alike because, I mean, there's so little oversight for any of this industry that if any additional oversight that we can provide is something that's going to, you know, it's going to go leaps and bounds as far as inspiring other people to take these actions. I'm not sure. Probably not sufficient.
Because the paint's even is weathered on the gravel. Maybe that's a sampling valve.
I don't know.
It's obviously, I mean, it's not being maintained. I mean, it hasn't had any,
Do we?
It's wet. There's some kind of petroleum product on it.
You know, we'll find out whether that thing is serious, whether it's not. Right there.